In a small, quiet town where storms arrived like uninvited guests lived an old woman named Mira. Every evening, as thunder rumbled and the town plunged into darkness, she would light a single, small candle and place it in her window. It wasn't a beacon, not bright enough to illuminate the entire street, but it was enough to serve as a quiet reminder that even in the deepest, most suffocating darkness, a little flicker of light can make all the difference. Her neighbors, practical and weary, would often scoff at her simple ritual. "Why waste a perfectly good candle, Mira?" they'd ask, their voices tinged with a mix of pity and amusement. "The storm is so strong, no one will even see it through the rain and fog." But Mira, her face etched with the gentle lines of time, would only smile. Light was never meant only to be seen. She'd whisper, her voice as soft as the candle's glow. It was meant to be shared. And so, night after stormy night, through howling winds and relentless thunder, she faithfully lit her little flame not for her own comfort, but for any soul who might be lost and in need of it. One particularly vicious night, a young boy named Aaron found himself lost on his way home. The streets, usually familiar, had transformed into dark, swirling rivers. The street lamps were all out, their unlit forms standing like ghostly sentinels. A cold, sharp fear began to creep into his heart, and he whispered to the roaring wind, "I'll never find my way home." Just as despair threatened to swallow him whole, he saw it, through the thick, driving sheets of rain, a tiny, flickering point of light, a distant, golden glow. It was small, almost insignificant, but it was there. He fixed his eyes on it and started walking, one careful step at a time, until the light led him to Mira's small, warm house on the hill. Mira opened the door, her face a portrait of kindness, her candle still burning steadily in her hand. Without a word, she welcomed Aaron inside, wrapping him in a warm, dry blanket and offering him a bowl of hot soup. Her smile was as comforting as the flame itself. "See," she said softly, her voice a gentle comfort against the storm's rage. "Even the smallest light has the power to guide a lost soul home." That night, huddled by the warmth of the fire, Aaron learned a profound lesson that true kindness doesn't need to be loud or grand to be utterly life-changing. Years passed. The memory of that night became a quiet, guiding force in Aaron's life. Now a man, he found himself in a sprawling city when another storm, fiercer than any he had ever known, descended. The entire city's power grid collapsed, plunging millions into a cold, terrifying darkness. Panic began to set in as people found themselves trapped, helpless. But in one critical building, a single light remained on. Inside, a man worked with frantic, focused energy, his hands deftly repairing broken circuits. Rain dripped from the ceiling, and sparks flew dangerously close, but he never faltered. A small nameplate on his desk read, "Engineer Aaron M." and under his breath, as he worked against the chaos, he whispered a single name for Mira, the one who taught me what light truly means. Finally, with a decisive click, he flipped the main switch in an instant. The city burst back to life. Windows began to glow one by one, streets lit up, and a collective sigh of relief echoed through the metropolis. Hope, which had been extinguished, was suddenly rekindled. No one in that vast city knew the name of the man who had restored their power that night, but in a quiet little town miles away, one heart remembered. One heart knew the origin of that act of unwavering dedication. An old woman, a small candle, and a timeless lesson in kindness. Because long, long ago, that tiny flame had not only guided a lost boy home, it had ignited in him a fire to care, to serve, and to be a light for others, especially when no one is watching. Your own small act of kindness might seem just as invisible today. You might feel like your efforts go unnoticed, like a tiny candle in a raging storm. But somewhere, someone is lost in their own darkness. Somewhere, someone will see your light, and it might just be the one thing that guides them through, the one thing that changes their life forever. Remember, even the smallest flame possesses the incredible power to outshine the darkest storm. Be the candle. Light the way for others, and never, ever stop believing in the profound, world-changing power of your own kindness. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, please Please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.